I'm Cavin Elizabeth and I'm a wedding photographer based in San Diego. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about timelines for weddings that are only receptions and that don't have a ceremony. Now my own wedding is going to be this way simply because David and I are choosing to do a private ceremony, just the two of us. So we just wanted to celebrate with everybody with just our reception. Honestly, the ceremony is typically only like anywhere between 5 and 20 minutes of the entire day, so I don't feel like people are really missing out that much. You might be doing that, or maybe you had a situation like a recent bride I had where she actually had a wedding in Italy, but then she had a reception in San Diego for all the people who couldn't go to Italy. So for weddings like that, they're obviously unique because there is no ceremony, so your timeline is going to be a little bit different. One of the main things I'll say is just because you're not having a ceremony doesn't mean you should skip getting ready photos. I personally really love those, not only because it gives you and your photographer a time to warm up with each other for the wedding day, but it also allows them time to shoot your details. So your shoes, your jewelry, whatever you may have. To me, those photos are incredibly important for my brides and also for my own wedding. So I want a lot of time for that. I also want time for photos of me getting into the dress, of some maybe photos in the hotel room before we leave. So things like that to me are really important. Now, if you don't care about those, but your photographer is asking for a little bit of getting ready time because that helps them warm up, it gets everybody acquainted with them. So you guys will feel much more comfortable with them if they have time to kind of be in the room with you. Everybody will sort of start to relax, which is really great for your photos for the rest of the day. Now, because there is no ceremony, there's no need to wait until the aisle to see each other. So if you are wanting to have a sort of first look, or maybe you guys have already seen each other because you had a bigger wedding in a different location, whatever it may be, at least put all of your portraits before guests arrive. That way you can get them out of the way, you have a nice light for them. So do all of your bride and groom, your bridal party, and your family photos, whatever you have that needs to be taken that's a portrait, do it before the guests arrive. That way you can enjoy your cocktail hour and really mingle with everybody and spend a lot more time with them. That's a great reason to do a first look anyway, even if you are having a ceremony, because it's really nice to have these things done and then you can actually enjoy your cocktail hour. Or if you want to take some more portraits, you have more time, but I personally would want to be able to spend more time with my guests. They all live across the country, so we don't see them often. So a first look for me, even though we're not having a ceremony, is still a must-have because I want all of those photos done, then I can just relax. One of the nice things about not having a ceremony is that you will need less time for everybody. You do save a decent amount of money, and I'm not saying that's a reason why you should skip the ceremony, but if you're already thinking about it, this might make you feel better. You don't have to pay for an officiant, which is usually, I want to say, maybe $800, just depending. That's not really a cost that I'm super familiar with, but that I believe is the national average. But you don't have to spend money on officiant. You do not have to spend money on rentals or florals for the ceremony, so chairs, whatever it may be, anything that you would have for the ceremony. It's just sometimes a lot more cost effective, which is great. So if you are having a non-traditional wedding, you are saving a little bit of money. You also do not have to have your photographer there for as long, so you can get away with a 6 to 7 hour timeline. I think that we have chosen 6 or 6.5 hours. We might end up adding on an extra half hour if we want more time covered at the reception. But basically, because there's no ceremony, you don't have that like 20 minutes break before the ceremony, then your 30-minute ceremony, and then kind of the time after. So you do save some time on that. So maybe you can get a little bit better of a photographer because you need less hours. They're gonna cost a little bit less. So just a nice little perk to not having a ceremony. But basically the overall timeline for a no ceremony wedding, I would think would be some getting ready, maybe for about an hour and a half. That gives them time to cover all of your details. If they want to spend time styling things, that can work. This also gives you time to get candid shots and you getting in your dress, whatever it may be, and then jump right into portraits. So I would suggest spending about 45 minutes on bride and groom if those photos are a priority to you. That's going to be something that's really nice. Now, if there aren't that many locations at your venue, maybe if there's just 1 or 2 good backdrops, you might need a little bit less time, but I would say at least 45 minutes is fantastic. And then depending on the size of your bridal party, I would do anywhere from maybe 10 to 30 minutes. If you have a larger bridal party, more like 30 minutes, because you want time to get the group shots and individuals of you with each bridesmaid, the groom with each groomsman, whatever it may be. That's definitely something that you're going to want. And then for family, as long as your list is at about 10 to 12 different groups, you could probably get away with about 15 minutes, maybe 20 for that if your family isn't very good at listening or they tend to wander. But typically timing is better when it is packed padded a little bit, so always feel free to add in a little bit of extra time. You might not need it, but it could be really great to have it in case something does run late. So then after these portraits, your cocktail hour would start. That would typically be about an hour, but what you could do is reduce it to a half hour. That's what we are doing because it's not really a big transition. We don't need that time for portraits. We're doing it beforehand. So we're doing more of like a little welcome half hour. So that's something that we're going to do. And then we're going to start the reception. So you guys would start your reception and then include whatever events you want throughout dinner. So if you want to do toast, first dances, cake cutting, whatever it may be, definitely make sure to fit those in before your photographer leaves. And then you just party and then that's it. So it's really not too different from a wedding with a ceremony, but you are saving some time. The day is a little bit shorter. You don't have to get up as early to get ready, which for me is a really great thing. I am not a morning person, but I hope you guys found this helpful. If you have any questions at all, leave them down in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!